الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي. اللهم لا سهل إلا ما جعلته سهلا وأنت سبحانك تجعل ما شئت سهلا. رب يسر ولا تعسر بكم بالخير. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. Thank you so much everyone for attending to this class. So I understand today's class will be about prayers. If one to if someone missed their prayers, okay, so what should they do, right? I saw the synopsis. Adakah is one required to perform solat taubah, qada, jama, and so on and so forth. So inshallah, I'll try to give a brief explanation for today's class. I think pasal solat jama ni, I think it is very relatable, especially for Sazli, because nampaknya dia macam dekat hospital. If I think most of our frontline workers, they are quite busy lah, susah nak dapat time off, so on and so forth. And bila nak solat, susah nak cari waktu untuk solat. Alright, I've ever just some background lah. I ever came across frontliners ataupun questions from frontliners. Diorang tanya macam mana nak solat. Masa tu I still remember it was early COVID days, alright. So basically people are asking lah, right? They need to work 12-hour shift, 24-hour shift, tak ada breaks. Okay, lagi masa tu during the early times, where PPE was very low, then diorang nak angkat wuduk macam mana, mask pun tak banyak. So how do they perform their prayers? Nak kena jaga wuduk, habis miss solat dan sebagainya lah. Okay, so insyaAllah today's class nanti insyaAllah I'll brief through that part lah. Okay, about jama and so on and so forth. But first, okay, let me just share my screen, full screen. Hold on. Okay, so basically prayers in Islam. Of course, today's topic actually I think it is more of a interactive topic, meaning kalau one way sahaja, just me to you guys, inshallah it will be beneficial to you inshallah. But at the same time I think kalau you guys ada queries pertaining solat jamak, qada and so on and so forth, I think it is better lah, because soalan ni it's more a practical question lah. It's not a theoretical question whereby I explain blah 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 blah. It's more of a practical question. If you have questions, you ask me, then I'll try my best to clarify ataupun answer nanti. Okay, but let me just share with you a bit about prayers in Islam. Okay, just some early background towards prayers. Okay, so basically Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala mentioned in Surah An-Nisa verse 103, Inna salata kana salal mu'minina kitaban mawquta. Alright, basically Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala has decreed specific timings for believers to perform their prayers. Alright, I ever received a question by some of my students. They ask why Zohor prayers is at this timing, for example 1:04 p.m. and why Asar is at 4 o'clock, why Zohor is not at 3 p.m., why Asar is not at maybe 5 or 6 p.m. It goes beyond that. Some people even ask why Zohor is 4 raka'ats, why Maghrib is 3, why Isha is 4, why Isha not 2, at the end of the day bila kita dah balik kerja ataupun balik sekolah dah penat, kenapa Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala did not end our obligation to perform prayers with 2 rakaat? So it's easy. Okay, Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala started subuh with 2, easy. Kenapa ending kena 4? Alright, so of course I do not have the answer. Okay, because certain things that Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala has prescribed ataupun obliged mu'minin, the believers, it is from Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala. The knowledge is only from Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala. So if you ask me why Zuhur is at 1 p.m, kenapa Zuhur is 4 rakaat, I do not have the answer. Okay, because basically this is the dalil lah. Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala has decreed certain timing ataupun specific timings for some prayers. Okay, so this is Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala's decree, Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala's power. Alright, in this also we are aware and we submit to him, okay, meaning kita serahkan kepada Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala. He is the most powerful, he is the all-knowing. Okay, so he knows what's best for us. He knows why these 5 prayers the timings are as such lah. Although we always recall ataupun we always go back to the story of Isra Mi'raj. Okay, selalu during Isra Mi'raj we talk about Nabi SAW naik turun Lauh Mahfuz, negotiating with Allah Subhanahu Wa Taala to decrease our prayers from 50 to 5. So imagine 50 prayers in a day. In every hour mesti ada at least 3-4 prayers lah. Okay, but here Allah Subhanahu Wa Taala dah decree 5. Okay, 5 daily prayers yang kita nak kena wajib tuntut. These are the timings, kita serahkan kepada Allah Subhanahu Wa Taala. This is amr, in Arabic they call amr tauqifi. Ini meaning satu perkara yang Allah Subhanahu Wa Taala dah tetapkan, dia henti di sana. Okay, we cannot go beyond that. Okay, certain things just tak boleh explain. It shows, as I mentioned just now, the power and also the knowledge of Allah Subhanahu Wa Taala. Alright. Okay. So with regards to I'll answer the question at the poster as straightforward. So basically the question is, what should I do if I forget my prayer? Okay, because so the answer is clear cut. You need to call out your prayers lah. Okay, if you forgot to perform your prayers, okay, the normal situation is you need to call out the prayers. Okay, so here just some info. Okay, the commandment of prayer to be performed in a specific time, meaning now is Isya. Okay, contoh you solat 9:30, 9 o'clock, you selalu niat nak usolli fardal isya 4 rakaatin adaan. Okay, so this is a bit Arabic di sini lah. Okay, adaan means forthwith. Of course, the translation tak it's not great. Basically, adaan is at the current time. Okay, sekarang ni. Okay, you perform it at this moment. Okay, so this is that is adaan. Alright, so as long as you perform prayers during the specific time ataupun during the time that Allah Subhanahu Wa Taala has allocated, it is called adaan. Okay, if you perform it outside of the prayer time, contoh you solat Isyak nanti pukul 7 ataupun pukul 8 pagi. Alright, so it is called Qada lah. I think this is basic knowledge for all of us. Okay. Ada another term. Okay, tak apa. I forgot another term. Okay, if I recall nanti insyaAllah I'll explain to you guys. But this is the basic knowledge lah. Adaan apa? Adaan is at that current time, at that point of time. Okay, and anything outside of the specific time is called qada lah. Okay, so you cannot perform your qada prayers. Contoh, you miss subuh prayers, you nak solat qada subuh, you tak boleh kata usolli fardhu subhi adaan. Okay, secara niat tu salah lah. Okay, because you are not performing subuh prayers at that point of time during that specific timing, but you are performing subuh prayer outside of the subuh timing. So you nak kena cakap qada. Okay, now this is part niat. It is very very important lah. Right, innamal a'malu binniyat. Nabi SAW mentioned in this hadith. Even Imam An-Nawawi started his book Arba'in An-Nawawi ataupun the 40 hadith with this hadith. Innamal a'mal binniyat. Every actions requires intention. Okay, so we need to get our intention correct. All right. Right. So this is another hadith by the Prophet SAW to answer the question, what do we do if we forgot our prayers? Okay, so Nabi SAW specifically said this, man nasiya salatan falyusalli idza dzakaraha. All right, so you need to perform prayers. So basically, if anyone forgets a prayer, if any one of you accidentally or intentionally or accidentally, miss your prayer, what you need to do is you need to qada lah. Okay, you need to pray that prayer when you remember it. Okay, so the next question here is, is it wajib? Of course, qada tu adalah satu perkara yang wajib, because you miss fardu prayers, solat yang wajib, so dia sama lah, you wajib nak kena qada. But the next question here is, is it wajib for you to quickly qada your prayers? Contoh, you dah terlupa nak salat subuh, you bangun, tahu-tahu dah pukul 7 pagi. Is it wajib for you to quickly qada your subuh prayers, ataupun you can qada later during zuhur, ataupun when you want to perform your duha prayers, you solat subuh and solat duha. So macam mana? Right? So here the majority of scholars stated that it is wajib to hasten ataupun to quickly qada your missed prayers lah. Okay, regardless of whether the prayer is missed due to permissible excuses by syara or otherwise. Okay, excuses permissible by syara, for example, you are sick, you tengah sakit, you demam, contoh, you cannot bangun daripada katil, contoh, you cannot pray, you are too weak to pray. Okay, so it is not, so that falls under syarak lah. Okay, so itu pun some scholars kata it is wajib to hasten quickly qada the prayers. Okay, of course this is one opinion, just to let all of you know that there are various views, okay, between our scholars with regards to this issue. Okay. All right. So majority of the scholars mentioned that it is wajib to quickly hasten and qada your prayers lah. But of course, there are other scholars. Let me just go to the next slide. Okay, so some scholars in Mazhab Shafi'i said this. Okay, this is taken from Al-Majmu' Sharh Muhazzab. Dia kata, if a person misses a prayer due to permissible excuse by Shara', such as he fell asleep or he forgets within the limits, ataupun tadi I said sick, he is sick, then it is sunnah for him to quickly qada his prayer. So it is not wajib. Sekiranya you, contoh, you tertidur, you terlajak subuh lah. Okay, you fall asleep. Okay, you dah bangun, then you tertidur balik. Tak sengaja. Okay, of course, bila dekat subuh tu, dia ada fine line between sengaja tidur balik dengan tak sengaja tidur balik lah. Alright, there are times, I acknowledge that there are times yang kita bangun, dan kita tak sengaja tidur. Tak sengaja tidur balik. Ini you dah bangun, alarm dah bangun, you dah tekan. Okay, nak bangun. Bila you nak bangun tu, tiba-tiba your eyes shut off, you tertidur, and tahu-tahu you miss your subuh prayers. So that falls under this excuse by syarak lah. Okay, but kalau sekiranya you dah bangun, subuh, alarm dah matikan, then you tak nak solat, nak tidur. Then you tidur. So that doesn't fall under excuse by syarak. You are intentionally wanting to miss your prayer. Of course, itu benda yang go against syarak lah kan. So it is as though you want to miss your prayer. Contoh, you kena solat zuhur tapi tak nak solat zuhur, penat, malas nak solat nanti, nak qada je. Of course, satu adalah dosa, dan you wajib qada secepat-cepat mungkin. Right? The following line kata, however, if a person misses his prayer without any permissible excuse by syarak, then it is wajib for him to immediately qada his prayer. Okay, so that's what I explained just now lah. Okay, so status quo is kalau sekiranya memang you tak sengaja untuk terlepas, you tak sengaja lepas, accidentally miss the prayer, then you need, it is sunnah for you to qada the prayers lah as quickly as possible. But of course, sunnah to quickly qada your prayers pun, dia adalah satu yang ibadah, dia adalah satu sunnah tu adalah satu yang ibadah. So you tertinggal, cepat-cepatlah qada the prayers. Okay, so there is no harm, okay, for you to quickly qada your prayers. Atau some may ask, Ustaz, I miss my prayer, so can I choose not to quickly qada my prayers? You can, but it is not part of the sunnah taught by our Prophet SAW. Okay, because based on hadis Nabi SAW tadi, man nasiya, okay, man nasiya salatan, those who forgets ataupun who missed their prayers, they need falyusalli idza dzakara, they need to pray the prayer as soon as they remember it. So as soon as you remember that you miss your prayer, quickly salat qada, tak ada issue. Okay, right? Okay, hold on. Okay, maaf. Okay. Right. Thus far, any questions? Many of you? Boleh, can. Nanti maybe closer to the end ataupun once I finish the slides, I'm open to any discussion lah. Okay, of course, one of the questions yang you guys can ask is, Ustaz, I ada air hutang solat banyak. Okay, contoh during your teenage years, you nakal, you asyik tinggal solat. Tapi sekarang contoh you dah matured, you dah grow closer to the deen, you lagi sedar, you are aware of your mistakes and you want to repent, you want to qada. So tapi the point here is you forgot how much prayer you terlepas. Macam mana? Okay, contoh Ustaz saya pun tak tahu berapa banyak miss prayer, berapa banyak qada yang nak kena qada. Okay, because dulu time kecil memang tak kira, saja main-main. Okay, so maybe that's a question that I pose to all of you. I want all of you to ponder of the answer. How do you respond? Ataupun how do you respond to that question? Okay, you have a lot of qada prayers, tapi you cannot remember how much, how many. How do you qada your prayers? Okay, I want some answers later lah. Of course, you can just open your mic and answer, ataupun you can type it out at the chat box. Okay, something to ponder. Okay, all right. The next opinion tadi, Syarah Muhazzab. I think it is also from. Okay, hold on. Okay. Okay, Syarah Muhazzab. So this is also one of the scholars from the Shafi'i Mazhab. So Imam An-Nawawi, also from the Shafi'i Mazhab, has a similar opinion with regards to qada prayers lah. Okay, so basically here, I underlined a few things here. So whoever is obligated to pray while he did not perform it until the time of it ends, then it is wajib for him to replace it. Okay, I think this is something that none of us kita debate about this, meaning all wajib prayers, all fardu prayers, if we miss them, kita nak qada lah. It is wajib for us to qada. Okay, so this is a clear cut. Tapi the big issue is bila. Okay, so here Imam Nawawi kata it's sunnah for him to hasten his qada. Okay, based on the hadith. Okay, this is the hadith lah. If anyone forgets a prayer, okay, and it is permissible for him to delay it. Okay, so similar just as I mentioned just now. Must you quickly qada your prayer? Some scholars, Imam An-Nawawi kata, if you nak delay it, boleh. It is permissible, but it's not based on the sunnah. Okay, contoh, you want to perform your subuh prayers, you nak qada subuh, tetapi you dah lambat untuk pergi kerja. Okay, contoh, then how do you still qada ataupun you nak delay it? Contoh you dapat sampai kerja, contoh you dah lambat pergi kerja, so you bangun, you cepat-cepat mandi untuk sampai kerja lagi awal. Okay, dah lambat tapi nak sampai kerja, try to sampai before time ataupun try on time, then you just qada dekat kerja. Okay, ataupun kalau you dah memang lambat, you sampai ada meeting, then after the meeting, then you qada solat. Okay, that's also one option. Okay, so here, next is neither lah. Okay, Nabi SAW, neither if a person misses his prayer without any permissible excuse, then it is wajib for him to immediately qada his prayer. Okay, so this is the opinion of Imam Shafi'i. Okay, Imam An-Nawawi, which is also, he holds onto the Shafi'i mazhab. Okay, so far clear? I think it is clear lah. Okay, so basically sunnah, to conclude, it is sunnah for us to quickly hasten our prayer kalau sekiranya we accidentally miss our prayers, okay, ataupun we have some sebab yang munasabah lah, okay, permissible excuses based on the syarat. Okay, but it is wajib for us to quickly qada our prayers sekiranya kita tak ada sebab munasabah lah. Contoh, kita sengaja nak we intentionally miss our prayer. Okay, so it is wajib to qada as soon as possible. Okay, so another point, do we need to perform solat taubah? We miss our prayers. Do we need to perform solat taubah? Okay, the answer is solat taubah is not a syarat ataupun a condition for you to pray if you miss your prayer. Meaning tak semestinya you miss your solat, you kena qada solat then terus you nak kena solat taubah sekali. Okay, it is not stated in the hadith ataupun Quran that you need to perform solat taubah when you solat qada, means you miss your prayers. Okay, there's no link tentang solat taubah dan juga qada lah. Okay, solat taubah itself, just allow me just to clarify. Solat taubah tu sendiri is solat taubah lah. Okay, the word taubah itu, it explains the meaning behind it. Meaning you perform mistakes, you perform. You ada shortcomings, you ada buat dosa lah. Dosa mungkin tertinggal solat, you nak solat taubah. Ya Allah, sucikanlah dosa-dosa aku. Maybe you ada buat dosa-dosa lain, dosa-dosa maybe you sahaja tahu. Okay, you are the one who knows that what sins that you committed. Okay, alright. So you nak solat taubah, then you solat taubah. Okay, so yeah, so that's that. Okay, alright. Next. This is also another important question. So is it a condition to perform the qada prayers in order? Okay. And maybe another question here is, do you need to perform qada prayers first, then your adat ataupun solat yang whatever you need to pray now, ataupun you need to solat solat sekarang? Okay, let me rephrase it so you guys understand. Contoh, you missed your zuhur prayers, then kat waktu asar. So do you need to qada zuhur dulu baru solat asar, ataupun solat asar dulu baru qada zuhur? Okay. But before I answer that, we go through this question first, then nanti baru I masuk that part. Okay. So is it a condition to perform the qada prayers in order? Okay. What do you guys think? Do you need to? Is it wajib to perform your qada prayers in order? Contoh, you miss zuhur dan maghrib, ataupun zuhur dan asar. Okay, simple, zuhur dan asar. So bila time waktu maghrib, do you qada asar dulu baru zuhur, ataupun zuhur dulu baru asar? Okay, oh, ada answers. Okay, come, let me just see. Fawaz kata tak kisah, in order. Then Nas kata kena, yes, means kena in order. Okay, oh yeah, so one of you also DM me. So this is the question that we are going through right now. Tak kisah, in order. Okay, so basically, one of you say it's up to you. Another, both, then two persons say that you need to perform it in order lah. Okay, fair enough. Of course, just for your info, there's no right or wrong answer. There are mixed views with regards to this. Okay, some scholars say that you need to perform. It is wajib. Okay, for you to perform it in order, means you nak kena solat zuhur dan asar. Zuhur asar. Okay, you cannot asar dulu baru maghrib contoh. Zuhur, tapi tak asar dulu baru zuhur. Okay, you nak kena perform it in order. But there are also scholars that view otherwise. Okay, so let me just go to the next slide. So here, Imam Al-Khatib Al-Shirbini, okay, dia kata it is sunnah to qada one's prayer in order. Then one should perform qada the subuh before zuhur to avoid the different. Okay, so basically here to summarize, it is sunnah for you to perform it, to qada your prayers in order, meaning there's no issue for you to qada not in order, meaning you nak mix, tak kisahlah, senang kata. One of you tadi kata tak kisah. Okay, so it is also accepted. Okay, but kalau contoh you nak ikut sunnah, okay, you nak ikut sunnah, you nak ikut yang, because logically ataupun based on what we understand, ataupun based on what we understand of 5 daily prayers, kita kena solat semua mengikut tertib. Okay, zuhur, asar, maghrib, isyak, subuh, itu tertib dia. So bila qada pun some scholars ikutlah tertib dia. Okay, although some scholars kata it is not wajib, but it is best for us to ikut tertib dia lah. There's no wrong, there's no harm for you to ikut tertib dia. Okay. Right, so this is the opinion by Imam Khatib Shirbini. Khatib Shirbini pun, if I'm not mistaken, is a Syafi'i sendiri. Okay. Okay, before I go to the next slide, so another question that I wanted to share is, yeah, so when okay, so when can you, okay, so tadi we talked about performing qada prayers in order. Another point that I want to talk maybe is about qada and also fard prayers, meaning solat yang kita nak solat sekarang ini. For example, as I mentioned just now, kita nak solat asar tapi kita termiss zuhur. So do we qada zuhur dulu baru solat asar, ataupun kita solat asar dulu baru solat zuhur? Okay, let me see. Kalau tertib, then kita dapat pahala sunnah kalau itu. Kalau tak, Okay. Thank you for the respond ataupun the comment. Kalau kita tak ikut tertib, doesn't mean that we tak dapat. Of course, soalan pahala ni, I always leave it. We should always leave it to Allah Subhanahu Wa Taala lah. Okay, because sorry, let me just take a step back for us. Because tadi pun we talked that qada solat tu pun merupakan satu sunnah. Okay, untuk cepat-cepat solat atau cepat-cepat qada. So contoh you cepat-cepat nak qada, itu pun adalah merupakan satu sunnah. So meaning you tak gugur semua pahala sunnah, okay, but you perform at least some of it lah. But of course, my dear friends, we are talking about sunnah, then some of you may misunderstand. Oh, Ustaz, solat qada is sunnah, so means, you know, I nak lepaskan lah semua solat-solat fardu, nak qada je, dapat pahala sunnah. No, that's not how it works. Okay, you nak try to tweak ataupun trick the hukum Allah, tak boleh. Okay, means Allah kata wajib you nak kena solat on time. You tak solat on time tu dah satu dosa dah. Okay, kalau contoh you tak you miss your prayer tanpa sebab munasabah, sengaja, you know, intentionally miss the prayer without a proper excuse. Okay, itu dah satu dosa. Qada tu contoh dapat pahala pun, maybe pahala dia pun because you uphold the prophetic teaching and also tuntutan Tuhan untuk lakukan solat. Okay, so yeah. Okay, the if I can put it simply and bluntly, of course, everything before I share, everything rests from Allah Subhanahu Wa Taala. We do not know, I do not know, but maybe pahala dia berbeza. You solat on time, you solat dalam waktu yang Allah Subhanahu Wa Taala suruh, and also you solat out of the time lah. Okay, so of course we cannot say that, oh, kalau kita solat on time dapat 3 pahala, solat luar dapat setengah, you know. We cannot say that, we do not know, but mafhum dia macam gitu. Allah suruh kita solat on time, dia adalah satu wajib. Okay, kita solat. Kita lepas, ada dosanya. Okay. Yeah, so just now to go back to the question, do you solat your qada prayers first ataupun you solat waktu? Okay, so the answer here is it is best for you to perform your qada prayers first lah. Contoh you dekat tengah solat asar, okay, you tengah kat waktu asar, you miss your zuhur prayer, so it is best for you to qada zuhur dulu baru solat asar. So it is also in line with here lah, Imam Khatib Syarbi ni kata means you qada, you solat apa yang you dah miss first, ikut tertib, lepas zuhur dan asar, okay, dan sebagainya. But allow me to also share that there are times that you need to solat asar dulu baru you qada zuhur. Bila? It is when you dekat hujung-hujung solat asar. Meaning contoh maghrib is at 7 p.m. and you solat asar at 6:58 p.m. Okay, so 2 minutes before zuhur. So kalau contoh you qada solat zuhur first, you perform your qada prayers first, most likely confirm plus shop you will miss your asar prayers and you need to qada asar. Okay, so in that situation, bila you nak miss you almost miss your asar prayers, you need to solat asar dulu. So 6:58 p.m. 2 minutes before maghrib, you kena solat asar dulu, because why? So you tak hutang 2 qada. Daripada you hutang 1 qada, you hutang 2 qada. Nah, lagi berat kan? You dah buat 2 salah. So what you do is you solat asar dulu, baru you solat qada zuhur. Okay, eventually bila nak qada zuhur tu dah masuk maghrib lah. Okay, but it is that's how it is lah. That's how you should do. Okay, because tadi one of the opinions by our scholars is it is okay to delay it. It is permissible, tak ada masalah. Tapi you nak kena solat balik. Okay, as long as you remember. Okay, so yeah, okay. So that's the answer lah. Alright, Ken, is it clear? Clear. Alright, great. If you guys had a question, please do ask. Else I will just continue. Okay. So here, ini pasal apa ni? Okay. So this is another important question. I think ni. Very good. Okay, very good. Okay, I tak nak go di sini tanpa tengok dulu the answer. Thank you for the question. Very very important question. So, what if, for example, at 6:58 p.m. you tengah solat asar, tapi tahu-tahu before you beri salam, you end your asar prayers, it's already maghrib, dah azan maghrib. So macam mana? So sah or dah kena qada asar? Very good question. Okay, very practical question also. So in the Syafi'i mazhab, dia as long as you dapat capai 1 rakaat, then you selamat, senang kata. Okay, for example, let me give an example. At 7 p.m, contoh bila azan maghrib tu, you are already at your second rakaat. Dan selamat. Then you dah technically, you tak perlu qada your asar prayers. Okay, means you dah selamat lah. Okay, because as long as you dapat 1 rakaat, means you dah solat, you dah on the way to finish your prayers. Okay, but so it is similar to solat jemaah, solat Jumaat. Okay, solat jemaah Jumaat, congregational Friday prayers. You dapat dirikan solat solat Jumaat tu if you attain 1 rakaat. Am I right? I think boys, I think all of us we are aware of this. Contoh, so one of us we are late for our Friday prayers. Then kita dapat 1 rakaat. Kita boleh solat. Can we continue solat Jumaat 2 rakaat? Boleh. But if we miss the first rakaat, meaning kita tak dapat 1 rakaat, bila kita join the solat tu, imam dah tengah sujud. Second rakaat habis. Kita solat. Then how? Do you need to perform it to solat 2 rakaat ataupun 4? In that situation, you need to perform 4. You need to perform Zuhur. You tak dapat solat Jumaat. Okay, so similar to that, here, as long as you dapat 1 rakaat, you dah laksanakan solat itu. If you miss it, then you nak kena qada lah. Okay, qada means you need to batalkan, either you hentikan your solat, okay, then you solat lagi, usalli qada'an. Okay, niat qada. Okay? Very good question for us. Thank you. Okay, I hope that clarifies. Okay, so this is another important question. Ya, kita terus. Sorry. So yes, kita teruskan solat. If you get 1 rakaat, okay? Yeah, as long as you dapat 1 rakaat, then it is counted. Okay. Another tip, allow me to share. Contoh you dah dekat 6:58 p.m. I recall my teacher also taught me this. Kalau you dah tahu you dah nak miss your asar prayers dan dekat maghrib, so what you need to do is you nak kena solat yang wajib sahaja. Meaning rukun semua you buat yang wajib sahaja. Meaning at 6:58 p.m. you baca surah Al-Fatihah, dan janganlah you baca surah Al-Baqarah pula ataupun baca surah Ad-Duha, surah Al-A'la, surah panjang-panjang. No. So what I was taught is, kalau you betul-betul dah nak hujung, nak termiss your prayer, you leave second surah. You just solat, baca surah Al-Fatihah saja. Then you rukuk, you baca sekali saja. Sekarang kita baca 3 Subhana rabbiyal a'la wa bihamdi subhana rabbiyal a'la, 3 kali. Kita baca 1 je. Okay? Because itu yang wajib. Okay, itu adalah rukun. Okay? Baca Al-Fatihah is adalah rukun, but the second surah is not a rukun. Kalau sekiranya kita terlepas, tak ada apa-apa. Okay, so kita tinggalkan second surah tu. Tasbih semua kita baca sekali je. So in that sense, your solat akan dipercepatkan. Tapi of course, tumak nina, tenang, semua you tak boleh lepas lah. Memang itu arkanus solat. Tak ada tumak nina. So itu semua you jangan lepaskan. But you, seperti mana saya katakan, you leave the second surah. You hanya baca time rukuk, sujud semua. You baca sekali je instead of 3 times. Okay. So Rabbana walakal hamd. Terus, jangan baca Rabbana walakal hamdu hamdan katsiran, you baca-baca semua dengan extra. Memang boleh. But if you baca tu semua and you miss your prayer, apa gunanya? Okay, because benda tu semua sunnah. Solat tu adalah wajib. You nak kena solat, laksanakan solat. Okay? Of course, all these are very beautiful lessons. Ini selalunya we will learn this at usul fiqh. So what we learn here is all fiqh matters, but usul fiqh is something before fiqh. How do you derive at fiqh? How do you derive at that hukum? So ada this usul fiqh. We learn a lot of about these things. Okay, usul fiqh and qawaid fiqh here. Okay, there are certain things that we need to prioritize over certain things. Okay, and when we prioritize certain things over others, doesn't mean that we do it out of nafsu. Okay, bukan kita pandai-pandai senang kita prioritize ni lah, no. But it is based on Islamic teachings, based on how our Prophet SAW taught us. Okay, it's beautiful. Okay, but of course it is quite susah lah. Okay, to understand usul fiqh and qawaid fiqh here, it requires a strong basis first. Okay, not just jump right into usul fiqh and ataupun qawaid fiqh. Yeah, because nanti we won't be able, we are not able to really grasp what is usul fiqh. Right. Thanks, Ashikin, and also Fawaz. Okay, the next question, Ashikin, I'll take it after this. Okay, boleh? I have 2 more slides. Just 2 more. I have 12 slides. This is my 10th slides. And after that, we can open for question and answer. Inshallah. Okay. All right. So here, my work does not allow me to take a break to perform prayers. How do I pray? All right. So this is maybe someone who is a frontliner in light of this current situation. Police officers pun at times, okay, susah nak dapat break. Bukan tak dapat, bukan do not allow pun at times, because there's no time for you to take breaks. Okay, if you take break, you may lose a life. For example. So how? All right. So in a normal situation, ataupun in a situation that you are not able to pray, here are some. Of course, the top part is more of a practical punya advisory. All right, meaning how do you proceed? You talk to your boss, try to get an understanding. Kalau boss tak kasi, you try to talk to your colleague if he or she can cover for you. Then in return, you balas jasa baik dia and so on and so forth. Okay, so atas is more of a practical solution, but bawah tu it is something that we need to understand properly. Okay, so if we have exhausted all our possible options, meaning we tried talking to our boss, we tried talking to our colleagues and so on, so we try basically. Okay, the bottom line here is we try, kita usaha. Before kita terus jump to, oh alamak tak boleh solat, ke jamak je lah. But before kita jamak je lah, kita usaha, kita cari. We try to find solutions, we talk, okay, we consult, and still tak boleh, baru kita decide, okay lah, kita jamak lah. Okay, so that's how a believer should treat their prayers. Okay, you need to exhaust all possible options before you come to the conclusion to, okay lah, nak jamak. Okay, so here in a situation you are not allowed to take breaks. Okay, for example tadi one of our friends he is a frontliner, a nurse, okay, helping at the healthcare part. The susah nak get is 10 minutes. So 10 minutes tu lah very crucial. So 10 minutes tu is during Zuhur prayer ataupun during Asar prayers. He need to choose. Okay, I had one student. He also worked at a hospital. I taught him one-on-one. So he asked me personally. Dia kata macam mana? He can only choose one, either pagi ataupun petang. So I said, it's up to you. You nak choose pagi ke petang, but whatever it is, you choose pagi ke petang, you need to qada, you need to jamak your prayers. Because kalau you choose pagi, you confirm miss petang. Dia kata he cannot do anything ataupun tak boleh cabut petang tu. Memang he needs to be all hands on deck. Okay, so he choose pagi ataupun choose Zuhur ni lah. Okay, afternoon-ish. So I say, okay, afternoon tu you need to perform jamak. Because there's no other option. So dia dah try to talk to his boss. Colleagues dia pun busy on the same boat, tak boleh buat apa-apa. So dia jamak. So dia jamak Zuhur and Asar together. But of course without qasar lah. Dia tak pendekkan solat dia. Okay, because qasar is only when you are travelling. Okay, that is something that we need to understand. Some of us, kita bila dengar jamak je, oh jamak best ni boleh dua-dua. No, jamak is not 2 Asar, 2 Zuhur. Okay, senang-senang je buat gitu. No, jamak is combining both prayers. Okay, qasar is cutting short from 4 to 2. Okay, and we can only perform qasar if we are traveling. And sekarang ni all of us we cannot qasar lah. Okay, in any situation you susah macam mana pun you tak boleh qasar. You still need to perform for rakats. You susah emergency ustaz, I tak ada masa dalam that that the break that I've given, I cuma boleh solat 2 rakaat je max. Tak boleh. You still need to perform 4. Okay, there's no negotiating that regard lah. Okay, but if betul that break you can only perform 2 rakaat. So what you do is you cut short seperti mana tadi I shared earlier. You solat yang wajib saja. You baca surah Al-Fatihah saja. You baca tasbih nanti semua baca sekali saja. Okay, so pergerakan tu akan diringkaskan. It will be shortened. Right? So boleh. Right? So here boleh jamak lah. Right? But of course tak boleh selalu lah. We need to try our best to find time to perform it on time. Okay? Zuhur ataupun asar. Okay? Similar to of course Maghrib Isya lah. Alright, but I also got another naughty question lah. Okay, but not a naughty lah, but very genuine question. Dia kata, I can only pray before Zuhur. Boleh tak I solat Zuhur dan Asar? So contoh before Zuhur prayer, before masuk waktu Zuhur, tapi dia kata itulah break yang dia boleh solat je. Boleh tak solat Zuhur dengan Asar? Afraid the answer is no lah. In whatever situation you are in, you can only perform solat at 11 AM. Contoh, you nak solat Zuhur dan Asar, you tak boleh. Okay, that's not how it works. Okay, because antara syarat solat Zuhur ataupun solat Asar, Maghrib, Isya is idkhal waqt. Okay, masuk waktu. Belum masuk waktu, you tak boleh solat lah. Tak boleh pandai-pandai. Oh, ya Allah, I tengah susah ni, so I depankan Zuhur pukul 11. Okay, nanti you take it from there lah. 11 AM I dah solat. Tak boleh. You negotiating with Allah Subhanahu Wa Taala macam itu. Okay, we can't do that. That's not how it works. All right. Okay. Let me just see. Yes. Then Asri, thank you so much for asking. Yes, jama is allowed even when we are not traveling. Okay. As what I mentioned just now lah. Okay. To be honest, to share with you, there are times that when I'm working, there are times that I personally nak kena jama lah. Before I entered to this workplace, before this I was working at another company. Pernah sekali my company before this ada banyak events. Ada some events. So from one event to another, kadang-kadang memang tak ada masa because we need to prepare a lot of things. Okay, and memang all hands on deck. It is quite hard. So I need to perform jamak. Then I jamak my prayers lah. Usually I forgo my zuhur, means I jamak takhir instead of I jamak takdim. Okay, I solat asar zuhur, solat zuhur waktu asar lah jamaknya. Right? So it is okay. Okay. Tapi kalau another thing, okay, sorry. Another important thing that we need to remember is the niat tu. Imam Syafi'i kata, kalau you nak jamak takhir, contoh you nak jamak takhir, means you nak lepaskan zuhur, nak solat tambah waktu asar. You nak kena niatkan dalam hati you, ya Allah, aku nak solat jamak takhir. Okay, because if you do not niat you nak jamak takhir, means you unintentionally miss your zuhur prayers, hence you need to qada. Okay, unintentional. Tadi when we pasal tu the very first background ataupun first opening slide is very very important. You forgot intentionally ataupun unintentionally, you need to qada your prayers. So here, contoh you tak niat you nak jamak takhir, you terlepas. Alamak, terlupa nak jamak takhir, niat jamak takhir. Terlupa kan? You nak kena qada. Pasal tu you need to remember, oh, you want to jamak takhir, you need to remember at waktu zuhur tu, okay, ya Allah, aku nak laksanakan jamak takhir. Tak sempat nak solat zuhur, nak jamak takhir nanti. Baru you boleh jamak takhir. If not, then you qada. Niat you nak bila you solat zuhur waktu asar nanti, means it is the intention of qada your zuhur prayers lah, and not jamak. Right? Okay, let me. Okay, very good. There are some questions here. Oh, okay. So thanks, Ashikin. I refer to your question at 9:41. So I understand this is regarding imam, so meaning you are praying congregational prayers, right? And then there's an imam lah. So where do you stand? Right, left, behind? Can, all right. Of course, the practice is you solat, you pray behind. Sekejap. Yeah, there's no specific punya, there's no specific position. Okay. We always see dekat Instagram ataupun social media some positioning of solat. Later I'll just forward you with regards to that. Can, right? So but in the bottom line here is there's no, it is not a requirement until it invalidates your prayer lah. Okay, but later I'll just share with you some pictures, right? I've received a question here. Is it obligatory to recite any surah after Al-Fatiha? Okay. Thank you for the question. So as I mentioned just now, it's not obligatory to recite any surah after Surah Al-Fatiha. All right. Any surah after Surah Al-Fatiha, it is only a sunnah, an act that is encouraged to do so. All right. So, for example, one has yet to memorize a certain surah. For example, you only memorize Surah Al-Fatiha. Okay, for example, right? So how are you required to still recite something? No. If you only memorize Surah Al-Fatiha, then you just recite Surah Al-Fatiha. But as a Muslim, as a believer, we need to strive to still memorize certain verses or certain surah in the Al-Quran. The short ones. Al-Kawthar, Al-Ahad, okay, Qul a'udhu bin nas, Al-Asr, very, very short surah. At least we have something, right? Thank you for the questions. Okay, another question I received, very good question. Halfway through our prayer, something happened and need to attend to. Should we stop and leave the prayer halfway? This is a very important question, and very valid question. Maybe some of us, we've yet to experience this situation, where you are praying, then suddenly something happened, you need to stop your prayers and you need to attend to that. Of course, if it's something that is not urgent, all right, for example, someone calls you, okay, it doesn't require you to actually stop your prayers and okay, answer to that caller, right? But there are certain situations that you need to do so. This is written in one of our classical books, okay, our fiqh classical books. I think it was in usul fiqh, meaning before we talk about fiqh itself, maybe how you derive to the hukum. So basically, one of our scholars mentioned that if you are praying, for example, you are praying beside a lake, or maybe you are praying at the beach, okay, and then you heard, and for example, you are praying, and then eventually, contoh, for example, it's you are praying Zohor, but at maybe 4:30 p.m. and 4:32 is Asar. It means you need to perform Zohor quickly. If not, you miss your Zohor prayers, you need to Qada. But whilst you are performing a Zohor prayer, then suddenly you hear someone shouting. You hear someone drowning, screaming for help. Okay? In that situation, our scholars say that you need to leave your prayer, even though that your prayer later you need to meaning you need to Qada your Zohor, because eventually if you save that drowning person, it's already Asar time. Okay, why? Because saving one's life is more important than saving deen. Okay, so this is Hifzun Nafas and Hifzul Deen. Okay, this is Maqasid Sharia, the objectives of Sharia. Of course, as I mentioned, this is part of Usul Fiqh and Qawaid Fiqhiyah. It's another set of knowledge altogether, but that is a situation whereby you need to leave your prayer, whereby you need to save someone. Okay, so meaning the religion is important, but at that point of time, if you do not save the person that is drowning, okay, then he or she will lose their life. Okay, they will die. All right. So in that situation, Islam ataupun scholars say that Islam prioritizes life, that person who is drowning, over your own religion. Okay, so in that situation, you need to stop prayer you save the person who is drowning, and then you come back, you conduct your prayers. Okay, but in that regard, are you committing something sinful? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows, but scholars say that it is something that is of a higher objective. Means Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He sees that you are not intentionally leaving that prayer, but you are actually saving one's life, which is very, very important in Islam, right? Similar to our current situation right now. Okay, very good question. So that's the beauty of usul fiqh and qawaid fiqhiyah. It expands our thinking, okay, and expands on how we look at our religion, Islam. Okay, very beautiful. Okay, two more questions, but I have one last slide. Let me just go through the last slide. Okay lah. What should I do when I'm stuck in long meetings and I might miss my prayer? So here, right? Sorry. Okay, long meetings and you are afraid that you might miss your prayer. There are certain things that you can do. Number one is try to find a time to pray first, meaning contoh, your meeting starts at 2 p.m. All right, and then you know that if you do not perform Zuhur, okay, sorry. How about your meeting starts at 1:30 p.m. Azan is at 1:20 p.m. For example, you only have 10 minutes to perform a Zuhur prayers. Okay, so you need to plan ahead lah. As a Muslim, we need to plan our prayers. Okay, if we know that our meeting is going to start early, okay, close to our prayer time, and then it's going to drag only after Asar, then you need to plan accordingly. Okay, you need to solat quickly, all right, before the meeting starts. Okay, solat quickly meaning, for example, as I mentioned earlier, if you need to let go the second surah, you need to recite one time, you need to do so, then you do it. All right, another option is you prepare yourself, meaning bila you nak angkat wuduk pun sama. Okay, when you're performing your ablution may take some time. I acknowledge that for guys, I think it is a straight cut. For women, it may require some time, tudung and so on and so forth. So here you can also explore taking only the wajib, meaning muka, your face, your hands, your hair, and your leg. Okay, and only do it once. Okay, because if you're really rushing lah, right? So here, let me just share. So here is some tips here lah. You can just have a look here. Just perform it's essential. So basically here, just to share with you, Office of Mufti issued a booklet called Contemporary Irshad Series. I'm not sure if you guys heard about it before. So basically, in this book, it covers solat, fasting. One of it is solat lah, but there's mention about fasting, social issues, and so on and so forth. All right, but here is some tips lah, okay, practical tips for praying in constrained circumstances. Okay, so our wudu pun we need to try our best to only take the essential, take only the wajib, right? And prayer is also still the same. See here, there's no need to recite surah doa iftitah, and this normal surah we normally recite after al-Fatiha. Okay, and of course the important note here is should be done when we are really constrained for time. Alright, so normal situations, we should take our time and communicate with Allah in sincerity. All right. Okay, so that's that. All right, let me see some questions here. Not related to Qada, but example, most at level 3, we cannot see the Imam. Sekali the last rakaat Imam dah tahiyat akhir. Oh, okay, Fawaz, very relatable question, 950. You texted at 950. You're praying at level 3, you cannot see the Imam, and then you assume that Imam continue another rakaat, but actually Imam is at the tahiyat akhir. And then you are standing, then you hear the Imam beri salam, then how? What should you do? Very practical question. At that point of time, you need to calm down. Sorry, not calm down to level 1, but you dah tengah diri, you are standing, you need to quickly terus be at tahiyat akhir, you recite your tahiyat, then you beri salam. Okay, that's how it goes lah. Okay. All right. You need not to perform your prayers all over again. Okay. For us, just to clarify, means you hear the imam give the salam, then you quickly just go to tahiyat akhir position. You recite the tahiyat, and then you beri salam. Okay. There's no need for you to, from your standing position, you ruku, you sujud, and so on and so forth. No need. Okay. All right. What I used to do in my childhood was to play the Quran beside me during my salah. Okay, then lastly, okay, I understand. So, minta maaf. I think I still remember the context. So basically, this is regarding those who have yet to memorize certain verses in the Quran. Of course, this is one option. Sorry. I think during Ramadan, many of the imams at the mosque practice this. Not sure if you guys are aware of it or not. Okay, so the imam, when they are praying salat tarawih, okay, at times they have a big mushaf kat depan, okay, a big Quran in front of them, so they recite it, literally reading the book of Al-Quran. Okay, it is permissible to do so. There's no issue. Okay, all right. Oh, okay. So with regards to the question just now, on leaving a prayer to save someone, what do we need to say? You need not need to say anything, because Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala, He knows your intention, why you leave your prayers. Okay. If you hear someone's drowning and you need to leave your prayer, then you just leave your prayer and you save that person. Okay, because Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala, at the end of the day, I think we always need to remind ourselves that Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala, He is the all seeing, He is the all knowing, He is the all hearing. He hears, He listens, He knows, He sees. Okay, He sees what's in our hearts, okay, what we are thinking, what are our intentions, and so on and so forth. Okay, so we just leave Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala, He knows. Okay, because it is done at with the best of intentions lah. All right, not just just leaving the prayer all of a sudden. Okay. Okay, so one question here. Let's say we enter late for solat jamaah and we miss rakaat. Do we follow the imam or what, ustaz? Or what ustaz? Uh, okay, so okay, I think I understand your question. So basically, if you pray at the mosque and your intention is to pray in congregation, meaning, so for example, you want to solat maghrib at the mosque, but then when you enter the mosque late, you are not sure the imam is at what rakaat. So should you just still follow the imam, or how? Yeah, the answer is you still need to follow the imam lah, right? So although you are not sure the imam is on what rakaat, you need to follow the imam. Okay. And then whatever imam, for example, you the imam is at the third rakaat, then you join at the third rakaat. Okay, then you yourself, you would know how many rakats you have prayed lah. For example, then if you join at third rakaat, technically you are praying the third rakaat and the fourth rakaat, so means you already performed 2 rakaat. Then when imam gives the salam, assalamualaikum, you stand back up to perform the balance 2 rakaat. Okay. That's for 3 rakaat lah. For example, you join at the 4th rakaat, you just got 1 rakaat, beri salam, you owe 3 rakaat lah. Then you just stand up, you perform 3 rakaat. Okay. If you're about to sujood and our cat, very good question. If we are about to sujood and our cat suddenly sit on us, can you move sideways to avoid? Or we should be button. Okay. Okay. Thank you, Hafiza, for the genuine question. I have cats also at home, and at times when I'm praying, my cat literally sat at the middle of my sajadah. Not sure why. Tak selalu gitulah. Kadang when I'm on my tahiyat pun, bila gini, nanti dia gesel-gesel, he scrub his head dekat my finger. What I do is I always move it. I move my body to the side lah. Okay. Meaning kalau it sits literally in front of me, I move my body to the side. And if it sit at a position whereby there's no room for me to move, I will, before I sujood, for example, I just take the cat and just push it aside. Okay, yeah, right. So there's no need for you to batalkan your solat lah, right? Because cats, dia tak batalkan, it does not nullify your prayers. What is the rule of moving 3 times berturut-turut in solat? Thanks for the question, Nur Ifa. Basically, this is the mazhab al-Shafi'i. So meaning, if you are praying 1, 2, 3, for example, then your prayers are nullified lah. You cannot move more than 3 times. Okay, you gini, whatever lah. All right. It nullifies your prayers. What you need to do is, for example, terlalu katal is you gini, you stop, you gini. Okay. Kalau you gini, does it count as 3 times? Of course, there are debate between our scholars. Okay, some say that gini is still considered as one, but with limitations, not just gini throughout the whole prayer, then you still regard it as one, which is unacceptable. All right, so maybe you just stroke a few times, then you stop. You stroke a few times. Okay, as long as you do not move 3 times consecutively at different places, then it is okay lah. Right? Okay. So that is why when before COVID, of course, when we are performing in congregation, there are times when we are praying, suddenly there's a gap in front of us. Okay, meaning there's a gap between two jama'ah. Okay, so what people usually do is they will walk in front. Okay, but they do not walk like a normal person walking. But what they do is they take one step, one step, one step. So so in that regard, they do not move 3 times consecutively lah. They are walking means what you are praying. You solat berjalan lah, right? Which is funny lah. So you take one step at a time lah. Okay, so that's just some context lah, right? Okay, that is all. It's 10:07 already. Okay, I thank you so much, everyone. Thanks for all the genuine questions. I also learned a lot from your question. Okay. Yeah. Okay, let me just can. All right, thank you so much, everyone. That is all from me today. Thank you so much for your time. If you have any further questions, please do contact Wildan Istighfar. Okay. If you have any questions, just post it to them. Then inshallah, if they need my help, they can just contact me lah. Then I'll try to respond accordingly. All right. All right, thank you so much, everyone. Let's end this class with tasbih kafara and salat al-asr. Subhanakallahumma wa bihamdika asyhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilaik. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Wal 'asr innal insana lafi khusr illa alladhina amanu wa 'amilus solihati wa tawassaw bil haqqi wa tawassaw bis sabr. Thank you so much, everyone. Please stay safe and have a good night. Assalamualaikum.